Hello there, this is Anarchist. This video is part 3 of an Anarchist-themed Let's Play series of Stardew Valley. I'll link to the playlist with the rest of the series in the description. We pick up halfway through our first season on the 15th of spring. I wake up and water my strawberries and other crops before chopping down some more trees to make field snacks. Once I have a few to fuel a trip to the mines, I pet little Kropotkin and head out. On the way, I see that salmon berries are growing in town, so I make a detour to pick some, as they are an easy and free source of food. It turns out they aren't very good gifts though. Marnie tells me she is a member of the Animal Liberation Front and invites me to join the local cell. I thank her for the offer, but tell her I'm more of a food not bombs kind of guy, before continuing my foraging for berries. I come across Vincent and Jas in the woods who are playing by a sewer drain. I overhear them say that they want to play in the sewers, but that they are behind locked iron bars and that Gunther might have a key. Jas has seen Gunther drop a big rusty key and figures it looks like some sort of key to a place like this. Just then, a wet plopping sound followed by an eldritch groan emanate from the sewers, and the children run and hide behind me, saying they saw something moving around in there. I tell them it's probably nothing and go to investigate, hoping it's Ninja Turtles and not Pennywise. I don't see any movement, but it's too dark to really see anything. Then the same sound pierces the silence and me and the children nope the fuck out of there. I'm not going back there anytime soon. I continue harvesting in the forest, finding enough berries and spring onions to fuel a trip to the mines, while also coming across Robin the Axeless's axe. I'll be sure to give it back to her next time I see her. I see a notice on Pierre's store that Demetrius is looking for some seaweed. I figure it's a bit late for a trip to the mines after spending the afternoon gathering berries, so I decide to just deliver the axe and the seaweed instead. Robin and Demetrius are both very happy and thankful. It's getting late, so I head home to sleep. My berry foraging pays off and my foraging levels up overnight. On day 16, I walk out to check the mail and see I have a letter from Pierre. He lets me know that his store is selling fertilizer now and says I should come pick up a few dozen boxes. I don't need any for my plants right now, but maybe I can use the fertilizer for some other sort of anarchist activity. I'll just keep that in mind. I water my plants and decide I might as well plant the wild seeds I got from the Junimos. I decide to spend the rest of the day mining and head out, gathering some more salmon berries on the way. I descend into a particularly dark part of the mines that is overrun with skeletons. These guys take a million hits from my sword to kill. They have the same damaged, spongy feeling as the zombies from Oblivion. The time it takes to kill them drastically impedes my progress in the mines, and I only make it 5 floors, yielding a small amount of copper and monster parts. I should have listened to the fortune teller. I wake up on day 17 with more bad news from the fortune teller, so I'll avoid mining and fishing today and instead focus on foraging and digging up some clay so I can build a silo. A silo will allow me to store any hay I accumulate while clearing the grassy overgrowth of the farm. Without one, you just get grass, and since I plan on having many animals on this farm, I might as well get a head start. While traveling through town, I see Mayor Lewis and Evelyn, so I stop to chat and share some of the forageables I found. Lewis complains about having to collect taxes, even though that is why the town elected him mayor. One of the best things about living in an anarchist commune is doing work you find fulfilling, rather than some shitty job you hate so you don't starve, so I don't understand why he is complaining. I think him and George are just grumpy old boomers. George's better half, Evelyn, on the other hand, is a saint, and she tells me about the beautiful butterflies she saw in the garden the day before. She proves that being a boomer is a mindset, not an age cohort. Anyways, I finish gathering up the 10 clay I need for the silo and head off to Robin's carpenter shop. Maybe she will give me a discount after I helped her find her axe. When I get to her shop, I find she doesn't give out any discounts and takes the labor voucher system very seriously. Oh well. I pick a spot out of the way for the silo and she says she will start working on it the next morning. I spend the rest of the day foraging more salmon berries from the forest, accumulating enough to cover a few trips to the mines. I'm getting tired, so I cuddle up with Kropotkin and pass out. On the 18th of spring, I wake up and check the weather and fortune teller like usual to find that it will rain tomorrow and that I will have very good luck, so this day is off to a great start. I water my crops, noting that Robin has come over to start building the silo. Afterwards, I head into town and see that it's my drinking buddy Pam's birthday, so I head to her place and give her a birthday gift. She is thankful for the gift but has a terrible hangover, so she asks me to leave. She is one of my best friends, so I won't take it personally. We all go a bit too far sometimes. I return to the farm to gather some things to sell to Pierre. When I arrive at his shop, I notice it's a bit more crowded than usual. Just after I arrive, Morris, the evil capitalist that runs Jojo Mart, waltzes in like he owns the place. Obviously, we have abolished private property, so no one owns the place. He loudly clears his throat to get everyone's attention, and they all turn to him, wondering what the capitalist pig wants. He announces that JojaMart is having a sale and he is giving out 50% off on all the labor voucher prices in his store. At first, everyone just stands there, expecting the others to stand in solidarity with Pierre. Slowly though, they give in and succumb to the outrageous deal. Gus, Jody, Demetrius, and Marnie all sheepishly go up to Morris and accept his coupons. What a bunch of bootlickers. I was the only one who stood in solidarity with Pierre, knowing that all those savings surely come from the exploitation of the global south. Capitalism runs on blood after all. After the bootlickers run off, Morris goes up to Pierre in his now empty store to talk shit. Morris is convinced he can buy off the members of the commune and have them feeding from his palm. Well, not if I can help it. I go to sell my gems to Pierre, but then remember he doesn't buy them, so I go sell them to my buddy Clint instead. I continue my selling spree by selling my stockpiled fish to Willie. Seeing I have enough labor vouchers to upgrade my watering can, and remembering that it's going to rain tomorrow, so this is the perfect time to do so, I head back to the farm to get the copper required for the upgrade. I beeline towards Clint's store, but I don't make it in time before he closes. I probably should have restarted the day to take advantage of this because I don't know when the next rainy day will be, but decided to carry on. I donate some shellfish to the community center, almost finishing another bundle. I spend the evening chopping down trees to prepare for a scorched earth mission on the grass once the silo is done. On day 19, I wake up to find a letter from my friend Pam, who has sent me a recipe for cheese cauliflower. It's hard to find something that doesn't go well with cheese, but she has done a great job. I also receive a letter from Jody, who needs a fresh cauliflower for a recipe she wants to make. I feel bad for her children, who will probably be subjected to Pam's recipe, but mutual aid is important, so I remember to hold on to one of my growing cauliflower for them. Since the silo is finished and the rain is watering my crops for me, I figure today is a good day to clear the grass from the farm. I break out my scythe and get to work. I fill up half the silo, which will give me a strong start once I can afford some animals. The fortune teller tells me that my luck will be good today, so I head to the mines, hoping to make some good progress. On the way, I spend all of my labor credits on an upgraded backpack. It may seem steep for something like that, but the improved backpacks are one of the best investments in the game because without them you are forced to either take shorter trips or throw things out while mining due to very limited space. The extra inventory space will save me a lot of time, and as we all know, time is labor vouchers. I speed through levels 35 to 39, gathering quite a bit of copper and defeating many enemies, and descend to level 40 where a chest containing a slingshot is waiting for me. I'm not a big fan of slingshots in this game, but I'm glad to be clear of the darkest levels in the mine and the spooky scary skeletons there. The next 20 layers of the mine have easier enemies and lots of iron ore, which will come in handy later. On level 46 I acquire a coffee bean, which is a surprise but not an unwelcome one. Coffee can be a very profitable, if high maintenance crop, but is more importantly useful for providing a speed buff which can save you a lot of time, especially in the mines and when traveling around town. It's also vital for writing scripts for your YouTube videos. I make it to level 49, low on energy, food, and time left in the day, and try to find the stairs to level 50 as fast as I can. When the clock has almost hit 1 AM, I know I must turn back even though I will lose some progress, as the alternative is not making it home and passing out in the mines. In the late game, passing out at 2 AM is no big deal because you can just pay the doctor's fee and eat food to make up for the lost energy, but this early in the game, paying 1,000 labor vouchers that I don't have and losing energy that I don't have food to recover yet would be devastating. I make it home just in time. On the 20th of spring, I start the day by watering the crops with Kropotkin's help and planting my coffee bean. They're pretty rare, so it's nice to be able to get one in the ground this early, and the fact that they grow in both spring and summer is even better. Going to sleep late takes its toll on me, and I don't even have the energy to finish watering all my crops before having to eat the last of my salmon berries. I build a recycling machine to start processing some of the trash I fish up, as they can yield coal, iron ore, and refined quartz, all of which are good to start stockpiling early. I also make my first tree tap, which can be used to gather maple syrup, oak resin, and pine tar. For some reason, I stuck it on a pine tree. Oak resin and maple syrup are used to make kegs and bee houses, which would be more useful at this point, but I guess I can use the pine tar for the community bundle at least. Speaking of community bundles, I swing by to donate a potato for the spring crops bundle. Later on in town, on my way to donate some gems to the museum, I check the calendar and see that it's Shane's birthday. I don't have any of his loved gifts on me, so I make a mental note to go find him later and give him a birthday gift, as that may help with his sour disposition towards me. I donate my gems and the second dwarf scroll to the museum. Dwarf scrolls are important because I need to collect all 4 to get the Dwarvish translation guide to understand the dwarfs, one of whom lives in the town, and so I will need to befriend him as part of the victory conditions laid out in the intro video of the series. With half of them down, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to start befriending Dwarf by the end of summer. Back at the farm, I noticed a couple other items for the museum in my disorganized chests, so I rushed back to donate those as well, receiving a chicken statue and some melon seeds as a reward. I can't plant the melon seeds yet, but they are a valuable crop in summer. After my trip to the museum, I head into town again to get Shane a gift. I see Leah on the way, and I remember I have a mission to get her a green bean, and also that I had sold my green beans I harvested that morning to Pierre. I run to Pierre's shop to buy them back, but he clocks out right as I get to his counter. As someone who has held several jobs where entitled customers would expect you to stay at work to help them after your shift has ended and you aren't getting paid anymore, I decide not to bother him. Instead, I head to the saloon to buy Shane some beer, thinking it costs 200 labor credits. When I get there, I see it actually costs 400. Many mistakes have been made today. I should start writing things down to help me remember stuff like this. I want to give him some sort of gift, even if it's not ideal, so I head back to the farm again to find something I think he'll like. I come up empty but see my fishing pole and think, why don't I just go catch him a big fish? Fish and chips go well with the beer I always see him drinking. I catch a smallmouth bass and a gold star one at that. This will make a perfect gift, I think to myself. I head to the saloon and present it to him, hoping that this will finally make us friends. He hates it so much that he wonders aloud if I am just fucking with him by giving him a fish for his birthday and then tells me to go away. I don't know if I'll ever get this guy to warm up to me. He hates me more than anyone in town except Pierre somehow, even after my act of solidarity with him in the face of capitalist encroachment. I guess it's just one of those days where everything goes wrong and it feels like no one likes you. I run home to cry, too sad to even pet the kitty who is curled up by the fire. I wake up on day 21 feeling a little better. When I step outside, I see the strawberries are ready for their first harvest, which lifts my spirits even more. Strawberries are one of my favorite foods and they should sell for a bunch of labor vouchers as well. I harvest them all and water my crops before heading into town to sell them to Pierre the Ungrateful. I make 7,000 labor vouchers, which should allow me to finally buy some animals from Marnie. I buy a variety of seeds so I can grow a little of everything, some of which will go to the community center and some which will make good gifts. I plant and water my new seeds, most of which will be ready just before the end of the season. To prepare the animals, which I can now afford, I must first build them a place to live. I decide to start with chickens since they grow fast and their eggs can be used in many recipes or just as food. Chickens need a coop, so I head to Robin's, who has thankfully decided to work today, and pay her to build me one on the farm. It will take a few days to build, but I should have chickens on the farm before the end of spring. I spend a little bit of time clearing more trees from the farm and remember the traveling merchant comes through on Sunday, so I go to see her. She has a better stock than usual today, and I score a red cabbage seed and a rare seed, the latter of which grow into the most profitable crop of all in the fall. They are expensive at 1,000 labor vouchers, but they are almost always worth buying when you have access to them. Leah is hanging out by the lake working on a painting, so I go say hello and give her a flower I found. She appreciates the gift and tells me that if I hear banging inside her cabin that I should just ignore it. I feel a little jealous about the recipient of said banging but try to ignore it like she said. I spend the rest of the day harvesting hay for the chickens that will be here soon and make some good progress towards filling up the silo. Exhausted from a week of many ups and downs, but mainly downs, I turn in for the night. My farming skill levels up again, granting me access to some useful recipes, most notably the preserving jar, which I can use to make jam out of my strawberries and sell for even more than the raw berries. So that concludes week 3 of my Anarchist playthrough of Stardew Valley series. Please like and subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for part 4. Peace.